Rama and Islam to all the Moors. I'm Dr. Yosapa from Zion Law School. Let's make it do what it do, y'all. We are, welcome to the free Astrotheology course. This is our textbook, The Gospel and the Zodiac, The Secret Truth About J.C. the Christ Figure, by the Reverend Bill Darrell-El. Okay, so we're still on the table, page 21, 22, and 23. So we completed Capricorn to my satisfaction in the last video. So now we're going to move on to Aquarius. We have 2 more zodiac signs to go. All right, 2 more. So Aquarius, page 23. The Aquarius section of Mark, according to the author, which we are confirming, begins at chapter 13, verse 1, and concludes at chapter 14, verse 16. The main incidents, if you all remember, the main incidents are those events in the gospel that are Aquarius, or that represent Aquarius in the zodiac. So the apocalyptic transformation, progress, and the man carrying a jar of water. All right. So we should see these events in chapter 13, 1 through 14, verse 16. All right. So we're going to see them. Zodiacal keywords: the water bearer, future hopes, cosmopolitan ideas, and anarchy. I strongly suggest that you go look up the etymological meaning of anarchy. It will surprise you. All right? The etymological meaning of anarchy will surprise you. All right, y'all, so let's get into it. This should be fun. This should be fun. The main events again, apocalyptic transformation. So what did JC do? What are they talking about? I know what they're talking about because I remember we went through the whole chapter on Aquarius. Progress. And then the man carrying the water jar. Now the man carrying the water jar, if you know anything about Zodiac, the man carrying a water jar is Aquarius, with a jug, right, pouring water on the earth. But the problem with this is that, is it a man or is it a woman? Okay, so Aquarius, in the imagery presented in modern day astrology, is gender neutral. Gender neutral. All right? Cannot tell what it is. So we can say it's a what? A morphodite. All right? You can't tell what it is. We can just make that assumption. But there is a difference between a hermaphrodite and then let me rephrase that. It's androgynous. Might an androgynous man or woman be a morphodite? Yes. Or it could be a man who's got itself fixed up looking like a woman, or a woman fixed up to look like a man. All right? So you can take this wherever you want to take it. Transgenderism, whatever you want. Okay? But androgyny. That's the point here, androgyny. All right? So let's go over to get started. Page 189. Now take a look at the man with the jar of water. See, you can't tell if that's a man or a woman, right? It's androgynous. Now, take a look at the glyph. So it looks like waves of water, right? It looks like waves of water, but in the text, these are supposed to be lightning bolts. So let's change the orientation. Change the orientation. Now you can see lightning bolts, right? Looks more like lightning bolts. So scholars, this is a good demonstration of how perspective can radically change what you see. Perspective can radically change meaning. All right, so two people see the same thing, but from a different perspective, a different angle, they see something totally different. One sees water, the waves of water, another sees lightning bolts. Y'all see it? Some people will see lightning bolts and associate that with who? Thor. The superhero or the deity Thor. Or any of the other storm deities, right? All right. Give me 1 second, y'all. So, let's get ready to make it do what it do, y'all. Aquarius and Saturn. Page 186, page 189. Aquarius and Saturn. All right, y'all, Saturn, planet Saturn. When the musical Hair, y'all remember that? When the musical Hair was first produced in 1968, the term quote unquote, the age of Aquarius, everybody's familiar with that, right? It's been all over the songs, all up in the movies. Entered popular consciousness for the first time. Enter popular consciousness. In other words, it became a trend and everybody recognized it. Everybody was aware of it. Okay, that's a very important concept. And people began singing about a supposed utopian future, a wonderful, amazing, perfect future in which we would all take off our clothes, practice free love, and live in peace and harmony. It's like the 60s attitude, 60s and early 70s attitude, right? Free sex, love, peace. Few understood the astrology behind it all. Even the writers of the musical had no real idea. The lines, quote unquote, when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars, show astonishing astrological ignorance. See, that's why you shouldn't believe everything you see on TV or hear on YouTube. Well, let's see why. Here's why. Jupiter aligns with Mars frequently, and the moon is in the 7th house every day. Y'all hear that? Jupiter aligns with Mars frequently, and the moon in the in the 7th house every day. So it happens all the time. There's nothing unique. And the rest of the stanza, so let's go back to it, quote unquote, then peace will guide the planets, and love will steer the stars. All right? Is more an expression of naive 60s optimism than a faithful account of esoteric tradition. All right? So nothing special. That stuff happens every day. Y'all see it? So there was no change. There was no change. That's the point. That's the point. So the basis of the utopia was based on nothing. A big bag of nothing. All right? A big bag of nothing. So they were deceived through the lyric, right? Intentionally or unintentionally. Maybe they wrote it to just to make it sound good, but I think unlikely. Who knows? Don't matter. All right, let's continue. If the writers had investigated this tradition, they would have found that the quote-unquote dawning of the age of Aquarius would be anything but tranquil. Y'all got that? The dawning of the age of Aquarius is not going to be some free love. The beginning, dawning means beginning. The beginning of the age of Aquarius is not going to be some utopian society where there's free love and peace. It's going to be the exact opposite. Okay? It's going to be turmoil, tumultuous, extremely challenging, a lot of suffering, a lot of misery, a lot of pressure, a lot of doing without, a lot of poverty, a lot of wanting. That's what's going to happen in the dawning of the age of Aquarius. All right. In fact, every time a new age is entered, remember there are 12 zodiacs, 12 zodiac signs. The Mazarah, the pathway, the journey, the way, consists of 12 constellations. We call them zodiacs. A great year is approximately 25,900 years. Divide the number of zodiac signs by the great year. So 25,900 divided by 12, and you get the age of each zodiac, or the number of years that each zodiac will last from its beginning, its dawning, until the end. Everybody see that? So at the beginning of the age, very strong energy. Very, very strong energy. The end of the age, that zodiac sign has a very, very weak energy until it's gone. Y'all see it? Beginning of a zodiacal age, the energy is very strong. When you get in the middle of it, it's fixed. You're clearly in that zodiac sign, right? The energy is fixed. Y'all see it? And then when you get toward the end of it, the energy is what? The energy is decreasing all the way down to zero. Everybody got that? Same concept as a cardinal sign. You know, cardinal, fixed, and then mutable with the seasons. But anyway, the point is this. The age, when it comes in with a bang. Or it comes in with a bang. But there's always turmoil. There's always turmoil when global turmoil when a new zodiacal age comes in. Why? Because it's out with the old and in with the new. So y'all remember there's birth, which is growth, right? The next generation, the ongoing generation. There's childhood, then there's maturity, so childhood, and then maturity, and then there's the decline. There's the decline, and then death, and degeneration. Okay? So that transitional period, things are dying. The old system, all the old institution, the old, these days you can say religion, the present religion, or the old religious system will begin to die. So there's going to be what? Chaos. Y'all see it? So the old stuff is dying. People don't want to lose their position or power. They're going to fight for it. Nobody ever gives up power. They're going to fight for it, right? Things start to fall apart. Y'all ever kept the car so long that when it gets old, it starts to fall apart? All the trouble you have breaking down on you, right? Maybe your heir is driving it and it breaks down. You got to get out of bed, go get them, and you know, all kind of problems. All right? And then the new one comes in. Now there has to be what? A reorganization. And that's oftentimes no fun. Think about when a company gets reorganized. It's the end of one regime or way of doing business. One management team. Management starts to get fired. Employees start to get fired. New ones brought in. Right? People who had a lower level job, they might become somebody else's boss. They don't like it. Or old companies go out of business. Whole industries go out of business. So there's a lot of turmoil. That's with every zodiacal age. Okay? Aquarius included. Now some people say we're already in Aquarius. Some people say we're already in Aquarius. All right? But the thing to take note of is that 2,000 years or so of Christianity, you can wipe it out. It never happened. That's 2,000 extra years added on to history. We also have to remember, I think there's another a little bit less than 400 years. If you look at the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, the handwritten document, you look at the date on that and the date on the Organic Constitution, you'll see that there's not quite 500 years. I don't remember the exact number right now, so I won't say. But there's also a change or added years on top of that. All right, so keep these things in mind. So the religious people will say that Esau has attempted to add time or to change time and seasons. That's how you'll hear it in religion, okay? Esau has attempted to change times and seasons. What are the seasons? Literally speaking, winter, summer, spring, and fall. I can tell y'all in Southeast Asia, it used to be people only talk about wet and dry season. But I think maybe almost 10 years ago, people started talking about winter, summer, spring, and fall. Ain't no such thing in Southeast Asia. But of course, we know who's in power in Southeast Asia too, right, y'all? But anyway, let's continue. The dawning of the age of Aquarius, y'all know that the secret societies have also a saying like this. It's called the dawning, I think it's just the dawning of a new age. I got to go back and check into that. All right? And there's a mountain, I heard this from Jordan Maxwell. I'll go back and I'll check it out. In fact, I meant to do it, but I forgot. All right, y'all. So the dawning of the age of Aquarius would be anything but tranquil, harmonious, and loving. As we shall see, one of the documents they could have consulted was Mark's Gospels. They, meaning those who wrote this play. The hair that made the phrase "the age of Aquarius" so popular back in 1960s, and even till now. So the author is saying, had those writers read Mark's Gospel, they could have got it right. But that's, of course, assuming that they wanted you to know. Maybe they already knew, right? Maybe they're secret society members. All right. So anyway, let's get into it. By the way, we in Pisces, so many corporations, right? All of these corporations, the Catholic Corporation, the Sister Q Trusts, all the nation states are corporations, all of this new mechanized, commercialized industry, all of this stuff is corporations, for profit and non-profit. Oh, what happens when that collapses? Think about that. What happens when that collapses? The people in North America have been completely disconnected from nature, removed from their land and farms. They don't know how to survive. They depend on the agricultural industry for food. You go to the grocery store and get food, or you go to the market to get food. They don't know how to grow their own food. What happens when these institutions collapse? What happens when the fiat system collapses and people don't know how to survive for themselves in nature? Is that going to be peaceful? Is that going to be some utopian society where everybody is living in harmony? Meaning, you don't abuse me and I'm not going to abuse you. I help you and you help me. Are those the kinds of conditions that are going to happen? Especially when you think about the mindset of the people, the lower self mindset, consciousness, and behavior of the people that they've learned through TV, the violence, you settle things through violence. Y'all think about that. Think about it. And look at what's happening to you in your life right now. In your neighborhood. In your state. In your neighborhood, in your city. In your state. In your area of the country. In the whole country. Look at what's happening globally. All right, so are we still in Pisces or are we in Aquarius? Look at the conditions. Look at the conditions. And then you decide, okay? Well, let's continue. Capricorn, this is a quote from Ptolemy. Capricorn and Aquarius are cold and wintry. Capricorn and Aquarius are cold and wintry. So we're talking December 21 through January, right? Or is it through early February? I think early February. Yeah, through mid-February, I think. But y'all check it. December, January, February, these are the coldest months of the year. And the darkest. Okay? Wintry. Now remember, the astrology is from the perspective of the northern hemisphere. Specifically where? North America. North America, there is a clear spring. There is a clear summer. There is a clear winter, a clear fall or autumn, and there's a clear spring. All of the four seasons are present clearly. No doubt about it, unambiguous. No ambiguity. Now, when you go up into the north, now I've heard, I don't know if this is true, but I've seen like videos where people went up into the north and they said that it was actually not snowy. There were areas that were not snowy. It was like tropical. But is there a spring? No one spoke about that. Is there a fall? No one spoke about that. But we've been taught in school that when you go to the north, like the North Pole, it's freezing cold. But in any case, there's not four seasons. When you go into Mexico, when you go into the South, Central and South America, there's no four seasons. Does it get cold? Yeah. I was in Mexico City in the fall, and it was cold. Like, I needed a coat. Everybody else had on jackets in the evening and during the day sometime. But I said, I got to get out of here. I bounced. I went to the Yucatan, which is south. And I posted up in the Yucatan. And unfortunately, the Yucatan is, well, unfortunately for me, is well developed. Where I was at, it was like living in a suburb in the States, right? Big houses, lots of space. Y'all know how it is in the States when you're in the suburbs. Big houses, lots of space, lots of open area. Nothing but international chains, international stores. I mean, they had some mom and pop shops. But, you know, for me, being in Asia for so long, there's no comparison. Like, for example, you go to a market and they have vegetables and all of this stuff. The selection was so small. It was so small compared to Southeast Asia. But anyway, that's Yucatan. They don't have four seasons. They had, the weather was quite nice. I mean, I actually, based upon the weather, I could have stayed in Yucatan. I mean, based upon the weather, the plant life or the vegetation, like the trees, the birds, they had the most beautiful birds. It was incredible. I could have stayed there. Based upon those things. They have parks everywhere. But of course, unfortunately, the indigenous people treated me worse than the rest of the people. Y'all know that they have the colorism and, you know, all of that problem. That's everywhere you go in the world. At least everywhere I've been. And it looked to me like there were a lot of hybrids there. In Yucatan. Eventually I'll go back. But Mexico is a place, if you stay there long enough, you're going to blow up. Like your weight. If you eat the food, you're going to blow up because everything is fried, lots of grease. Eventually you're going to get diabetes. It was so bad. The incidence of diabetes was so bad that they were selling medications for diabetes over the counter. I've never seen anything like that. And then I would see adults. I know I'm off topic, y'all, but adults with like 1.5 liter bottles of Coca-Cola walking down the street or at the park drinking them. I was shocked. I mean, that shocked me. That absolutely shocked me. And then, you know, the food, pork, fried, and a bunch of cheese. They eat a lot of cheese. Y'all know cheese will clog you up, right? Your arteries. Cheese will cause a lot of obstruction of flow. But yeah, but other than that, Yucatan was great. But then when you go down further into South America, when I was in Peru, there's wet and dry season. When you go further south, like way down, I think it's Argentina at the bottom, or down to the south, it's wintry. It gets cold, like really cold. When you go to Europe, it's cold. And then, like I was in Central and Eastern Europe for a couple years. It's wintry, and then it's like the fall, like 60s and 70s degrees. I'm still cold, right? So the point is, if there are 4 seasons in astrology, the point of reference has to be North America, where there are clearly defined springtime, summertime, fall time, or autumn, and then winter time. Now, if the Egyptians are credited, or let me rephrase that, whoever it is that is credited with starting astrology, it had to be from the north. They had to be in the north. Y'all see it? That's just by simple logic. How is it that let's say if the Egyptians in Eastern Africa, they have wet and dry season. If you look at what you learned in history class, they didn't have the technology nor even the curiosity. It's really an insult, right? They didn't have the technology or the curiosity to sail across the waters, to build something and sail across the water. If you see water, just your curiosity will say, hey, I'm gonna build something and go see what's on the other side. That's just your curiosity, right? And you're gonna build something. And to sit there and not build something, but generations, that's an insult to say that a people would lack the curiosity and the ingenuity and the innovative thinking to do that. It's ridiculous, right? It is ridiculous. So whoever came up with that idea, and we know who they are, were fools. But of course they could get it off on you because they denied you an education, and then they prevented you from learning on your own how to develop your critical thinking skills, your analytical mind, by forcing you to go into the public food system. Y'all see that? See? So anybody in Africa or any of these other land masses other than North America, according to the story that we learned in Western education, they would have known nothing about 4 seasons. Therefore, they could not have been the originators of astrology. The only way that could happen is if what? If they were in North America. Particularly on the East Coast. Right? Because in California, they don't have winter. On the West Coast, you don't see winter. Y'all see? And so hence we have the story that the Nile, but not the Nile, that the Mississippi is the Nile River. Chicago is Mecca. Memphis, right? Memphis, Tennessee, Memphis in Egypt. Pyramids, thousands of pyramids in North America and all throughout the Americas. Ancient Egyptian artifacts found everywhere throughout the Americas. See what I'm saying? Is that to say that Egypt was not in the East? No. I'm not saying that at all. But if you read, I don't remember if it's Dr. David Imhotep or if it's Horace Butler. Dr. David Imhotep is the author of a book called The First Americans Were African or something like that. Y'all should get his book. And then of course, everybody I think knows Horace Butler. He's the author of, I can't remember, it'll come to me. But one of those authors makes the point that Egypt in Africa is a satellite Egypt. It is much younger than Egypt in the Americas. So the biblical stories, for example, Moses, the Exodus, all of these things happen in the Americas. Now that's offensive to some African people. I had this discussion with some people from Africa. And they were highly offended by it. All right, and so the Jordan River, according to Horace Butler, which he bases his conclusion on the etymology or the etymological meaning of the Jordan, is actually the current in the Atlantic Ocean. That current, that cyclical current that takes you from Africa to the Americas. That's the Jordan River. Before the Atlantic became what it is right now. All right? Before it was this huge ocean, etc. All right? So that current is the Jordan River. But y'all go out and get his book and you can learn more about that. But the point is, the orientation, when you're considering astrology, therefore astrotheology, is North America. Specifically, those land masses in North America that have 4 seasons: winter, summer, fall, winter, Spring, summer, fall, and winter. Okay? Capricorn begins this December 21 or 22nd, I believe it is. No, the winter solstice. I believe that's also Capricorn. I don't remember the dates, y'all. Y'all go back and check it. Okay, so Capricorn through about approximately mid-January. And then Aquarius, right? So we're dealing with December, January, and February. All right? So these are the cold, dark months. Dealing with corporations, etc. So let's get back into it. So Ptolemy says Capricorn and Aquarius are cold and wintry, right? December, January, February, cold and wintry, right? And their diametrical aspect is not consistent with beneficence. So Ptolemy says that on page 81. I got Ptolemy's book. And I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to present Ptolemy's book first. Not first, but next, after this book. I'm making that decision now. All right? So winter, December, January, February, these are not beneficial. It's cold. Y'all remember, what you gonna do in the cold? What you gonna do? You're gonna sit at home. You're gonna try not to go outside. Right? You're gonna try not to go outside. Sitting there in the house freezing, trying to keep warm. You better have enough food to eat, etc., etc. Don't even think about the animals, because they're hungry too. Okay? This is Ptolemy's point. So let's continue. Cancer, that's the summer solstice, January 21, 22nd. Cancer, now isn't it something that they would name something so wonderful? Cancer? Think about that. Cancer, medically speaking, a cancerous cell is a cell whose DNA has been altered, and it no longer performs the function that it's supposed to perform. And it eats up all the nutrients and oxygen, and it just grows and grows and grows. It's just growing, doing nothing, not doing anything that it's supposed to do. Just taking up space and eating up all the nutrition and oxygen. All right? So it lost its specialization characteristics. It's a very weak cell. Cancer cells are weak. They're just hanging out, doing nothing, until they suck up all the nutrition and all the oxygen, create masses. The masses apply pressure to your blood vessels, to your nerves, and eventually it can kill you. So why would they name the summer solstice? The summer solstice, remember, is what? The Christ. Why would they name that Cancer? Or do you think they're talking about the Cancer, the sea creature in the water, the bottom dweller? What do y'all think? Why do they use that word? Cancer, though ruled by which the power of the sun is strongest. That doesn't, hold on, let me read that again. Quote unquote, by diametrical aspects, the author or Ptolemy means their opposition that's Capricorn and Aquarius, are opposed to. Their opposition to the signs of Cancer and Leo. Leo, hold on, y'all. Hold on, give me 1 second. What the heck? I hope I still have a signal. So Cancer, that's the Christ. The sun is in its highest position in the northern part of space. Can't get no higher. No place to go but down, either horizontal or down. But here's the interesting thing, y'all. Think about this. If Cancer, think about the Hermetic law, as above, so below. So, as above, so below. Hold on. Northern part of space, southern part of space. Summer solstice, winter solstice. Christ, the devil. Cancer, Capricorn. Okay? In Capricorn, winter solstice, note, December 21, 22, the sun stops moving, stops falling. It stops moving southerly. It stops falling. When you look at the sundial for the next 3 days, which is the end of December 24th, the beginning of December 25th at 12 midnight, there's no shadow cast by the sundial. Remember, every day, 365 days in a year, every day the sun casts 1 degree shadow on that sundial. But for 3 days, no shadow is cast until December 24th, 12 midnight, which is the end of December 24th and the beginning of December 25th. Now there's a full 1 degree shadow cast on the sundial, meaning the sun has shifted directions. It's no longer falling, but it is ascending, rising, springing northward. So as above, so below. As below, so above. As above, so below. As below, so above. So y'all tell me, if you have the answer to this question, tell me. On December 21, 22, 23, 24, into 24, going into 25, does the sundial stop moving? In other words, is there a shadow cast? As below, so above. The law of correspondence. To my knowledge, and I don't claim to know everything, but to my knowledge, the only time there's no shadow cast on the sundial is at the winter solstice, December 21, 22 to December 25. Like I just said, Christ is reborn. Only here Christ gets reborn. Y'all see? So how do we explain this? How do we explain that? Because if it's true that no shadow is cast between June 21 to 25, June 21, 22 to June 24, 25, then it's not true that as above, so below, and as below, so above. That's not true. So how do we resolve that? If it's true that a shadow is cast on June 21, June 22, June 23, June 24, And June 25, if it's true that the sundial, there's a shadow cast on the sundial, how do we explain that? Easy. Easy. Perspective. Perspective. That's all perspective. Right? Because what would have to happen? When the sun is ascending, right? It's ascending. It gets to the highest point in the northern part of the sky. There's no place to go but horizontal. If it goes horizontal, will it cast a shadow on the sundial? Not if the conditions are the same during the winter solstice where it's traveling horizontal. Y'all see that? There's only two places to go. It cannot go higher north. It cannot ascend higher in the north. It can either go horizontal or it can fall. It can fall, right? In other words, it falls going southward. In which case you'd have horizontal movement of the sun at both solstices. Rather than what? If it just falls, there's only horizontal movement of the sun at the winter solstice. Hence, Christ resurrected. So in the fall, the sun is falling, and now there's a reversal. It's ascending. The sun is ascending, summer solstice, then there's a reversal, now it's falling. The yin and the yang. All right, y'all? Just something to think about. But anyway, let's go back to it. So we would expect to see what? Different attributes from an ascending sun. Why? Because the energy and the angles of the sun rays hitting the earth and hitting you. Y'all see? But anyway, let's continue. Cancer. Oops, I forgot. By diametrical aspect, Ptolemy means their opposition to the signs Cancer and Leo. Okay? Their opposition to the signs Cancer and Leo. Cancer is in the highest point in the north, Capricorn the lowest point in the south. Got it? Leo comes after Cancer. The sun has is most intensely hot in Leo. Okay, that's why it's Leo the lion. That roaring lion. Y'all know a lion's color is gold too, right? Symbolizing the sun. The raging lion. The intense heat of the sun. Okay, and Leo, the sun is falling. Also in Cancer, it's either moving horizontally. The sun is either moving horizontally or it's falling. Okay? So we have Capricorn in the south, followed by Aquarius. It's Capricorn at the winter solstice. The sun is moving horizontally, and then it changes direction and starts to move northerly. Okay? Strong winter, cold, opposites. Y'all see it? Leo, the most intense part of summer, and then Capricorn and Aquarius, intensely winter. All right? That's what he's talking about. Cancer, though ruled by the moon, Cancer is ruled by the moon, is the sign of the summer solstice when the sun reaches its highest point in the northern sky. Leo, ruled by the sun. Now, Leo is the only constellation ruled by the sun, if I remember correctly. So Leo, which is ruled by the sun, symbolizes the glory of the individual. The consciousness of selfhood. Okay? Consciousness of selfhood, that's awareness, right? That's I am. I exist. I be. Consciousness of selfhood and personal uniqueness. Capricorn and Aquarius, make note of that, y'all. I am, I exist, I be. I'm uniquely me. By the way, I'm going to change topics. The masculine mental energy. This is I am, I be, I exist. That is non-local, meaning it is not inside your physical body. That is who you are. It is unchanging. And this, this little boy looked at me. Hi there. Coming to know that mental masculine energy, that unchanging, unchangeable, eternal, no beginning, no end. That's who you are. That's who you are. Coming to know who you are. That's the goal. That's the goal of life. Know who you are. Man, know thyself. Like Noble Drew Ali said, if you'd ask me what should you study, I tell you to study yourself. And after you finish, study yourself some more. Okay, what's my point? My point is that this is the great I am. And this is me. This is me. Okay? Point of reference, how we refer to each other. Think about it. Me, mine. Most of us never discover. Never ever discover. We call our physical body I. But the point of orientation is me. That's mine. Give me that back. Okay? So to become truly aware of yourself is to know that the physical body is me. This is the creator, right? In other words, creates your moods, your daily moods, your financial circumstances, the conditions around you. All of these things you create through the feminine energy, collaborating with the masculine energy, which is the will. That which extends outward, which is projected. Your will collaborating with your feminine energy. So who is this? This is me. Okay? Me. Me changes. My desires, my moods, my emotions, my financial situations, my relationships. Feminine energy is always creating, always becoming. Y'all see it? Whereas I does not change. It's non-local. It's everywhere, but nowhere until you put your attention on it. And then you find it. Study yourself. Put your attention on it. Study yourself and you will find you. This is the great I am. This is the silent observer. This is the witness. Okay? When you speak religiously, this information that we just talked about, this is another form of Trinity. The Father, who's non-existent in the physical body, exists out there, non-local, everywhere but nowhere. The only way you'll recognize it is to search for it. Put your attention on it. See? Okay? Nature, natural law. Me. I and me are separated. That's my point. That's my point. I and me are separated. People spend their whole lives trying to find out who they are, always thinking that they are me, this physical body, your hopes, your dreams, everything you have experienced, never coming to understand that you create these things, they change. But when you start talking about mindfulness, meditation and hypnosis and getting to know who you are, this, that, and the other, that's the end process of that, or what you find in the end is that you are the power. You're the great I am. Okay? Masculine mental energy that never changes. Doesn't have a beginning, doesn't have an end. All right? So this is bloodline, nation and jurisdiction. And this is me. Anyway, let's get back to it. We go back to the topic now. I've been meaning to go through that, but I kept forgetting, so I finally got it into the record. All right? So now let's get back to the lesson. So that conversation is over. We're back to the lesson. All right. So Capricorn and Aquarius, on the other hand, are both ruled by Saturn. Saturn, the planet which, quote unquote, occupies the orbit highest and furthest from the luminaries. What is this saying? Saturn is furthest away from the sun and the moon, and in whose nature cold prevails. So Saturn is cold. Cold-hearted. Cold as in uncaring. Y'all ever met a person? You can be close to them, your consort, your best friend, and they just do you dirty and feel nothing. They have no empathy. Or you ever shake somebody's hand and their hand feels wet and cold? Cold, no empathy. Do anything to you. No limit to what they will do to you. And they've done it to others. So Saturn is cold. Hence, the brotherhood of Saturn. The priesthood of Saturn. Cold is dark, right? The dark priesthood. The brothers of Saturnalia. Y'all get it? Ice cold. Frozen. So hot that it will burn. They burn you. See, these cold-hearted people will burn you. Put you in hell. Remember hell? Remember hell, the bottomless pit? The bottom is south. Space is so cold that it will freezer burn you. Hell. All right? Who goes to hell? People who owe the sovereign a debt. That they didn't pay. So you go there until you pay or expire. All right? So let's continue. Quote unquote, cold and darkness symbolize the collective. That's the masses of the people. The light of selfhood is all but distinguished. In other words, you're just a number. You're just a clog in the wheel. You're no longer a unique person as you are in Cancer and Leo. All right? So in Capricorn and Aquarius, corporations are everything. You have no natural rights, no birthright. Why? Because they're going to take it from you, trick you out of it, put you in bondage. It's cold-hearted to do something like that to somebody, right? Take their land, put them on the street, and then put the black codes on them, put Jim Crow on them, criminalize them being on the street when you're responsible for putting them on the street, take away their livelihood. Who can do something like that? This is the nature of Capricorn and Aquarius, because it's ruled by Saturn. That's the point. All right? So y'all keep paying attention. Keep paying attention, okay? The light. Y'all notice that? The light of selfhood. Light, illumination, light. That's Christ. Light. Christ said, I am the life. L-I-F-E. But what does it mean to be the light? It means light. I am the way, the truth, and the life. L-I-F-E. Meaning light. Right? The life that was in him was light. I think that's in John chapter 1. Maybe chapter 4. Or maybe it might be John chapter 1, 4. Something like that. Y'all check it. I don't remember. All right? The light of selfhood. Knowledge of self. In other words, you ain't going to even much know who you is. That's nationality. That's family. Not family, that's your bloodline. Your kinfolk. Your jurisdiction. Taken away from you. Y'all see why Christianity is associated with why Christ, all the solar deities are born in Capricorn? And then Christianity is Pisces. It's cold in the waters, right? The yin and the yang. The yin and the yang. Right? The duplicity. Okay, now let's continue. Aquarius. Following back up with Aquarius. And we are more conscious of our group orientation. So forget about you as a man or a woman. Now they're going to reorient your mind, your paradigm into groupthink. Groupthink. Now, is there a good aspect of this? Of course. Because when people begin to think as a group, it can also cause you to think as a bloodline, as a nation, as an empire. Group economics. Okay? I'm my brother's keeper. It can force you into that. In other words, you either suffer misery extreme, so much so that it breaks your present mindset. It breaks the staunch individualistic mindset you have right now. I got mine, you get yours. Or what I care about, a N-word, F you. You know, I'm getting the bag. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Conditions will break you from that. Or you die. And then those who are broken or adjust, very few people will adjust on their own. Most people will be broken, forced into it. Why? Because very few people are higher self. The vast majority, the masses of the people are lower self. So they need to be broken or expire. All right? So conditions in Capricorn and Aquarius will break you. All right? Now remember, I forgot to mention the progression of the equinoxes. So we move into each zodiacal age in a backwards direction. So we go from Pisces to Aquarius, and Aquarius into Capricorn. It goes backwards, not forward. I should have mentioned that earlier. Okay, so we're in Pisces now, or we're in it now and about to leave it, or we just exited. We just left Pisces and we are now at the very beginning of Aquarius. Y'all see it? Everybody see it? All right. Winter is the time of huddling together for warmth. All right, you need each other. You got to learn how to hug and touch each other. In Southeast Asia, you see the men hug each other. They're more touchy with each other. Not a homosexual thing. But when I was coming up, it was very rare. You couldn't hug another man. You couldn't embrace another man. But in Southeast Asia, you can do that. And, you know, it's normal. In fact, it's still uncomfortable for me, you know, I don't really like that. But anyway, let's continue. I'm still not used to it. People, you know, men wanting to be close and all right. So winter is a time, but that will change. That will change. For example, like in Southeast Asia, you got 1 million people living in a small room. 2 generations, 3 generations. Grandma and grandpa, their heirs, okay? And then the heirs consort or consorts, and then their heirs. 3 generations. And they're happy. But the point is they're close. Close. All right, forced on them through economic conditions. They don't have their land, right? So let's continue. Winter is a time of huddling together for warmth, of relying on our fellows to provide protection against predators. You rely on your friends to protect you. Of sharing what we have, you need to share if you want somebody to share with you. Okay, you can't depend on that SSI check anymore. That's gone. You can't depend on the welfare anymore. That's gone. You can't depend on your 401k anymore. That's gone. They stole it. You can't depend on nobody but you and your kinfolk. Initially. Right? And in most of the cases of blacks, African Americans, y'all won't even be able to depend on your kinfolk because of your mindset through the conditioning, right? To hate each other, want to see each other suffer, want to see them doing worse than you. Okay, so you keep on with that mindset, and you're going to find that you're going to expire early. You're going to be among the first to expire. All right, you'll be amongst the first to expire. Okay? I mean, check out from the earth plane. All right? Okay, so these wintry months cause you to have to rely on sharing what you have. Ooh, y'all black people don't like that, do y'all? Sharing, how about that? Sharing what you have with your friends. How about that? Y'all ever had a sibling, a brother, sister, cousin? You need something, you ask them, they won't give it to you. They won't help you. Or your baby mama, your baby daddy, you ask for help. It doesn't even have to be fiat. It can be, could you type something for me? Could you Do anything. And they tell you no. They laugh at you. People like that will be the first to expire. See, all these things, your reputation that you develop right now, that reputation will catch up with you. You're going to have to live it and wear it like it's a new suit. All right? Everybody, when the chips start to fall, ain't nobody going to want to deal with you because they know how you are. Right? And they remember. A friend of mine was telling me about in Vietnam how they will give each other money and gifts because the silent expectation is that you are, the next time around, you're going to give them, and it's going to be a little bit more than what they gave you. So everybody likes to give because they got the mindset of, I'm next. And that's what the Chinese do. You wonder how the Chinese built so many businesses in every country. Those people who have family, who have kinfolk, who own corporations or in management, they have agreements where they go to another country, they set up shop, the company gives them money and gives them free product. Gives them free product. The workers come, other Chinese people, they work for free. They eat there, they sleep there, they work for free. Why? Because the agreement is, when that company that they're working for free with, when they start making money, they're going to pay off the company that gave them all the free stuff and the money. They're going to pay them off. And now they're going to start buying their products. And then the next Chinese man or woman who's in line, they're going to repeat the whole process. They're going to get him a store or her a store. The company gives them everything for free. They got workers who sit there and they work for free until it's the next person's turn. Y'all see what cooperating can get you? That's geometrical growth. Imagine if you black people, you African Americans, had the mindset to do the same thing. Here I am in Southeast Asia, in Vietnam, right next door to China, right next door to Cambodia, Laos, Thailand, India, you name it. Not just me, but others just like me. Can go out and get product. Can even open up companies and supply. But y'all won't do it because of your mindset. Right? Because of your mindset. Not even talking about you being a consumer and not a producer. All right? Even though you hear this talk, but you won't do it. Why? Your paradigm, your mindset, your self-image. Okay, you think that you are me. You don't realize that you are I. Understand what I mean? Lost in the sauce. All right? So let's continue with the paragraph. The author says, today, that's in the modern world, we have all but lost an awareness of these things, and they survive in somewhat mangled form only in our celebration of Christmas at the time of the winter solstice. And y'all should know already by now, I hope, that Christmas is the celebration or the celebration of Saturnalia. All right. So in other words, the masses of people have been totally disconnected from nature, totally disconnected from these celestial bodies, not worshiping them, but observing the signs. What are the signs? Their physical positions, in the sky, and the energies that they produce individually and collectively, their impact, their effect on animate and inanimate, non-living and living, men and women and things, including hybrids on the earth. Completely disconnected. How? Well, because they took you out of the jurisdiction of nature and put you in the jurisdiction of religion. Admiralty, maritime, Catholic, Christian, canon, jurisdiction. The world of the dead. All right? Which is, if y'all can see it, Admiralty, maritime, Catholic, Christian, canon, jurisdiction is Capricornian and Aquarius. Corporations and religion. Okay? No room for an autochthonous Moor. Okay? They want to crush you, take that away from you. Make you into a corporation too. All right? Okay, so that's why there's no connection between the living and the dead. All living things are bound by cords. What kind of cords? Vibrations. Similar vibrations. And the dead, also cords. Very, very low vibrations. All right? Nature, natural law, rights, birthrights. Maritime admiralty, Catholic, Christian canon, jurisdiction, right? The statutory, the statutes, the public policies, administrative law, no rights. Benefits and privileges that can be taken from you at any time. The black codes, Jim Crow, all right? Children and family services, all of that stuff, okay? Make it clear. I'm trying to decide how much more of this I want to go through before I jump to the scripture, to the Gospels. Okay. Let's go through this, maybe next two paragraphs. Now remember, in the winter, which is Capricorn, the winter solstice, the number of nighttime hours are at their maximum. The number of daylight hours are at their minimum. It's cold and wintry. Now let's relate this to the Old Testament. Okay? Let's get into it. We're on page 190. In the story of Samson's first haircut, y'all go check this out at Judges chapter 16, verse 17 through 19. The Jewish scriptures presents us with a delightful, okay, this is supposed to be funny, humorous, it's delightful, poetic account of the sun's weakness, the S-U-N apostrophe S. That's the disk in the sky, the orb in the sky. So that's concrete. The Jewish scriptures presents us with a delightful poetic account of the sun's weakness. The sun's weakness when it is placed in the sign of Aquarius. Okay? Aquarius comes after Capricorn, right? Aquarius is the winter. So, in Aquarius, in January, what is it, mid-January, early mid-January, y'all? The sun is still very weak. Even though it's springing up, it's still very weak. Right? Springing up toward the north, it's still very weak. Now we're dealing with Samson. Remember, Samson had all of the locks. Those locks represent the rays of the sun. The rays of the sun. Okay? Or you can think of it as Christ wearing the crown of thorns. The crown of thorns represent the rays of the sun. So these are projecting outward, right? These are projections, projections, projections. The name Samson. Okay, so we see here, see forgotten language of the stars. So that's inserted, the forgotten language of the stars is inserted in our textbook. All right, so I did videos on the entire book. So y'all go back and watch those videos, and you can read it here too, whatever you want. Whatever floats your boat. Okay? So the name Samson, that's talking about the etymology, the etymological meaning of Samson. Go subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course so you can learn etymology and about Ancient Ibaryath. Okay, that's the original language of these texts. Set yourself free. That's your responsibility. Nobody but yours. Okay, you cannot be the Christ and not take the initiative and be persistent through it all to study and study and study, to study yourself. Because in the end, at the end of the journey, you're going to find who you are. That's the great I am. All right? The silent observer, the witness, the masculine energy. I be, I exist, I am. Unchanging and eternal. You are not me, meaning you as me, okay? Let's continue. Although that's what you think. You think you are who you feel, what you think, the fools you think that's you, but that is not you. Okay? So let's continue. So the name Samson comes from the Hebrew word Shemesh. Now that's modern Hebrew. Shemesh. The pictographs and the grammar rules that you'll read in these Jewish Bibles, that's biblical Hebrew. If you go to Israel, they're speaking modern Hebrew. Okay? Make the distinction. The original language is Ancient Ibaryath, sometimes called Paleo Hebrew. Okay, but these ancient languages, the Arabic and all of that, one language, different dialects. One religion, which is astrology, nature, natural phenomena, remixed into Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Islam. All of the religions are nothing but a remix of science. Clear? They used the same basic principle of the Zodiac and remixed it, tailored it to culture and traditions on the various land masses. Clear? All right. Same thing with the languages. All right. So the forgotten language of the stars, y'all go look at the etymological meaning of Samson there. All right. Comes from the biblical Hebrew word Shemesh, which means sun, quote unquote, S-U-N. S-U-N, the orb in the sky. Take note, scholars, that in Dutch and German, S-U-N means S-O-N. Okay? So the masculine male air is a S-U-N, the light. What's the light? The light is the life. There is a womb man and a man with the womb. Okay, there is a sun with the womb. Sun with the womb is feminine. And so Samson's name is equivalent to our modern day name Sonny, S-O-N-N-Y. His nemesis, Samson's nemesis, is Delilah, the woman he loved. How about that? Is Delilah, whose name comes from the Hebrew word Deli. This is the biblical Hebrew Deli, which is not the same pronunciation as the ancient Ibaryath, okay? Which means water bucket. Water bucket. Who is the man with the jar of water? Bucket and water are synonymous. Okay, so Delilah or Deli means water jar, water bucket. Make the connection. Delilah is Aquarius. Isn't that interesting? Delilah is a woman, but Delilah is Aquarius. Who is the man with a jar of water? Pay attention to the details, scholars. Here is the illustration of Aquarius. There's the water jar or the bucket of water, or the water bucket. Take note. Delilah is feminine. Delilah is feminine. Who is the man with the jar of water? Who is the man with a womb with a jar of water? Who is the womb man with the jar of water? Or is Aquarius asexual, androgynous, no sex at all? Or both sex organs present, hermaphrodite? Well, according to the story, in Judges chapter 16, verse 17 through 19, y'all like the video and call somebody, text them, tell them to come here so they can hear this, so that they can get it. All right? It's hard for people to come in and watch. Most people don't have enough discipline to sit through 2 hours, 3 hours of a video, even an hour and a half, even 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Y'all be surprised how many people have asked me to make the videos shorter. And now, what is YouTube doing? Promoting these YouTube shorts. Why? To condition you, to train you to have a even shorter attention span, so that you won't be able to learn. Yeah, somebody puts out a 2, 3, 4, 5 hour video, jam-packed with information. Does you, as a viewer, no use, because you've been trained to have a 20, 30 second, 3 minute attention span. And you have no discipline to come back and watch it and study it and watch it and study until you master everything. Your goal might be just to make it to the end, and then you quit. Whereas the goal should be to gain mastery, whether that's watching it 3 times or 20 times, or as long as it takes for you to master it. They're robbing you. Okay? Let me not say robbing you. They're disabling you. Okay? So let's continue. So, Samson's nemesis is Delilah. This is a woman, feminine, whose name comes from the Hebrew word Deli, which means water bucket, water jar. Delilah is Aquarius. Wait a minute. Aquarius is supposed to be a man. Aquarius is, in fact, androgynous. Aquarius is androgynous, asexual, or hermaphrodite. No sex at all, or both sex organs prominent. A woman like dressed up as a man dressed up as a woman. You choose it. In the story, Aquarius is feminine. Okay? So Delilah is Aquarius, in which the sun, S-U-N, loses its strength. A process symbolized by clipping of Samson's locks. The locks are the sun rays. Y'all see that? So in Aquarius, the sun is very weak. S-U-N, sun, S-O-N, sun, Samson, and his locks. The power of the sun is at its lowest, right? In December. In January, Aquarius is still weak. Natural phenomena remixed into the story of Samson and Goliath, where Samson's locks are clipped. The rays of the sun are clipped. The sun is weak now. Why? It doesn't have enough energy to project its rays. Y'all see it? Is there any truth to the story about Samson and Goliath? I wasn't there. I don't know. Is it 100% truth and it parallels with nature? Some people can argue that. Is it 0% true? It's just completely made up. It's a 100% remix of the natural phenomena of the sun's strength or weakness in Aquarius. I wasn't there. I don't know. It could be. Could it be partially true? Somewhere between 0 and 99% true? Somewhere between 1 and 99% true? Could be. I wasn't there. But it's just a story. The only thing that are important are the laws and the terms of the contract. That's the only thing that's important. Everything else is just a story, whether it's historical or not. Unimportant. What's important? The law and the terms of the contract. For Ptolemy, Capricorn and Aquarius lacked beneficence. In other words, Capricorn and Aquarius, they're not good. Okay? So for Ptolemy, Capricorn and Aquarius lacked beneficence, any benefits. Not because people born under Capricorn and Aquarius were without goodness or benevolence, but because Capricorn and Aquarius themselves represent bleakness and blackness of winter. Uh-oh, black people. Y'all blacks. Better look up the etymological meaning and the connotative meanings of black. In the winter, it's snow everywhere. The ground is covered with white. When you're a little boy, you pee, right? You pee in the snow. You draw angels and you do everything. The dogs and the animals pee in the snow. Now it's a yellowish tinge, or the snow gets dirty. Right? Or you see some snow, it's dirty, like a yellowish color. Anything but white. Hence black. Bleached. Y'all see it? Bleached. When you put bleach on white clothes, what's very likely going to happen? It's going to come out, if you don't do it right, it's going to come out with a yellowish color or a gray, dirty color. It's not going to be pure white looking anymore. You don't do it properly. Okay, black people? You calling yourself black? You're calling yourself bleached out, like a blonde color, or like ashes when you burn a piece of wood or you burn something. Hence the etymological meaning burnt. Burnt as in ashes. Okay, whitish. All right. And when life was hard and dangerous for many. So why would you want to call yourself black? Why you want to carry all of that negative energy? I mean, let alone, not forget about whether or not you're really black or not, but take that off the table. But why would you want to be associated with that? You see? And it's not you. But that's what? When you say me, okay, you see yourself as black. All right? You wasn't born thinking that. You learned that. Okay, that's the difference between me and then I. I am, I be, I exist. So in most people, the me and the I don't match. But you become the Christ when the me and the I match. You have no distortions in your self-image, meaning you have no limitations. You see yourself as you are, the great I am that does not change, eternal. Always have been, always will be. Pure knowledge, pure awareness, pure consciousness. All right? The creator. How? Masculine mental energy, yours, not somebody else's, yours, which you direct at your, in the me, in the fleshly body. Feminine energy, which is your subconscious mind. And then you create the life that you want. Hence you move mountains. Hence physician, cure yourself. Okay, I do that. Hence all of these powers that we read about our ancient ancestors possessing. And that's how they did it. It was because they knew who they are. And that's the goal, to come back into the knowledge of self. All right? Which means you're aware of all of the faculties that you have that you're not using now. Clear? All right, that's the goal. And when you're operating in heart, when you're operating as the Christ, right? When you are the Christ, polarized harmonically in honor, you know the law of rhythm, where the karma catches up with you, right? The mass consciousness that we're reading about right now is taking place. All of this stuff takes place at the level of the unconscious mind. So you avoid that. You avoid that by being in honor. And nature will teach you. All right, nature will teach you and give you downloads. Hence, the cherubim and the seraphim will protect you. Remember, the cherubim and the cherubim and the seraphim posted up at the cardinal signs. Y'all remember that? Vernal equinox, fall equinox, autumn equinox, summer solstice, winter solstice. Okay, so these are the cardinal points. The cherubim and the seraphim are posted up at these cardinal points. Okay, now remember, they are higher forms, according to nature, according to the Hermetic laws, remixed in religion. These are higher vibrational forms of life, posted up at each of the cardinal signs. All right, so we read about that in the circle 7 too, right? Okay? So when you are acting in honor, when you're acting in honor, this is what is meant by nature will teach you. You become harmonic with nature on the same vibration as nature that, you know, that you're supposed to be in this fleshly body. All right? And nature will teach you. Nature will teach you. Okay? And those higher life forms, cherubim and seraphim, are there to guide and protect you. How that works, I have no idea. The mechanism of how it works. Okay? I'm presenting it to you. Showing you the natural law in astrotheology. The Hermetic laws in astrotheology. Okay? But I'm not at all trying to tell you everything that there is, because I don't know. All right? So let's continue, y'all. Such hardship. Remember the hardships of winter, the time where there's bleakness, blackness. Makes us conscious of our vulnerability. So when you're suffering, it makes you conscious of your vulnerabilities, right? Of our need for others, of our responsibilities within the group. I am my brother's keeper. Okay? As our sense of individuality diminishes, our sense of communal or community responsibility increases. Now, I disagree with that. I disagree with that. Because a man or a woman who is acting in honor doesn't need to be punished to not harm other people or to help other people. They don't need that. So I disagree with this completely. Only dishonorable people need that. So when I say dishonor, I'm also talking about you good religious people. You are in dishonor. You are out of harmony with nature. Regardless of how much, I don't commit fornication, I don't commit adultery, I don't smoke weed, I don't use bad words, I don't cuss, I give my tithes. None of that has anything to do with nature. Your religion has got you completely disconnected with nature. So you're in dishonor. Now I'm not even talking about whether or not you robbing and stealing, tricking people, like as in treachery, tricking people, taking advantage of people, manipulating people. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about being out of harmony with nature, disconnected from nature. You're in dishonor. All right? If you are outside of your proper status, even if you're in your proper status and you're clinging to religion, quoting scriptures, there's nothing wrong with quoting scriptures, but if you're going to quote them, you better make sure that your conception is Gnostic and not religious. Because if it's religious, you're inviting those demons to continue to play with you. If it's Gnostic, you're reflecting nature. Note the difference. Not only reflecting nature, but you're also living the heritage You're being the heritage of our ancient foremothers and forefathers, right? You're keeping the contract. You're keeping the commandments. All right? And the lifestyle, so on and so forth. Okay? All right, y'all. So let's wrap it up here. I'm Dr. Yasafa from Zion Law School. Make sure y'all subscribe to my online class. Show up on Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Order my books. Download the books, our textbook, and the other books that I got in the video. Take action. Nothing will change until you change. Let me repeat that. Nothing will change until you change. All right? Your behavior, your mindset, and the books you read, your literature. Islam to all the Moors and Shalawama.